Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back to my channel. It is so good to be back and thank you again for all your lovely kind comments. And so I'm ready now to get on, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to start the project I was going to start before my lovely Graham passed away, and that is a series from Paper Craft Society box 65. And we're going to start with one of the stamps, a couple of the dies, and I'll show you what we're going to do as we go along. So let's just pop that to one side and let's get on with it. So to start off with, you will need a piece of card. This is going to be a 6x6 card by the time we're done. But to begin with, you will need a piece of card that measures 6 by 6.5. Now, all will become clear as to why you need that extra ½ inch in just a minute. And you're going to score it at that half an inch. You're going to score it at that half and fold it down. And that is going to be part, at least, of your card base. Obviously, it's not all of it. Otherwise, it will be a ramp. So if you did it like that, it would be a ramp. So we're not going to make a ramp. We're going to make a card. Now, we're going to make what I'm calling a lattice card. That might be what it's called. I'm not quite sure. But to make it easier, what we're going to do, now you don't have to do this bit if you don't want to, but if you've never made a lattice card, I strongly recommend that you do. And that is to put some acetate on it first, because it gives you a stable base to put the rest of your embellishments and bits and pieces on. So for that, you will need a piece of acetate that measures 6 by 6. I know it's difficult to see because it's clear, but if I'm sitting in a slightly different position now, so if I hold it up to the light, to the window, which is behind me, you might be able to see it. Now, this is the extra thick acetate from Sticks 2, and it's a really good one. It's a good construction weight. So the thicker the better. If you've got an ordinary thin acetate, I'd suggest you put 2 bits together. But if you've got this extra thick stuff, that's really good. So because I'm using acetate, I'm going to use my red runner tape. So I'm just going to put a couple of strips along there. Put that down there for a moment. And what we're going to do, what I would suggest you do, because obviously we want this card to stand up. So start from the bottom edge, line up the bottom edge, line up your acetate with the bottom edge of your card. Once it's there, hold it in place. Don't let it slip like mine's just done. So once it's there, hold it into place and make sure you keep it in place. If you want to put something on top of it, you can. And then fold your top piece down and just give it a good press like that. Now, I know I've got a bit of ink on my fingers and that's transferred onto there, but don't worry about that because it won't be seen. It's where I've been colouring because we're going to be, well, you've used a stamp and we're going to use dies, and so that will stand. So if I just show you quickly, that will stand like that very nicely. So now we're going to put the rest of it on, and because we're using acetate, I am going to use my trusty red runner tape quite a lot on this one, but we're going to use glue as well. That's okay, don't worry, we'll get to use glue. In fact, we're going to use glue right now, because what we're going to do, we're going to open it up. What I wanted to do, I wanted to put a bit of a pattern on the inside, and there's plenty of room to write your own message on the back. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to write on the back, but I've used one of the papers from the pack. So if you haven't, like all of these projects, if you haven't got this set, or you don't want to use this set, or you've got other embellishments that you want to use whatever you've got. You don't have to have this kit to be able to do this style of card. Use what you've got. So I'm going to use this paper. I've already cut it down, and that is a 6 by 6, and all of the measurements will be in the description below. Just click on the word more and you'll see everything you need to know. And I'm going to use some glue stick to put this in. So I'm just going to run this on. This is the orange glue stick from WH Smith, which is the equivalent strength of a tacky glue. I will link that in the description below as well. So it's a really good one. I love it. It's like, this isn't a, I'm not being paid to say that. Smith, in fact, Smith don't even know I use it, I don't think. But apart from the staff in our local shop. But I found it a really good one. But any glue stick that you've got will be fine. You don't have to use that one. So I'm going to just stick that down like that. And don't worry if it doesn't come right down to the edge or it doesn't cover completely, because again, by the time we're done, you won't see it. So I'm going to put that up there so that you can see there is a bit of an overhang at the bottom, but By the time we finish, you won't see that. So if there are any little imperfections in the cutting or the measuring, don't worry about it. Because for this type of thing, it really doesn't matter because you won't see it. So we're going to put that down. Now, I have cut, I don't know whether I'm going to use all 10 yet, but I have cut 10 strips of white card, just ordinary white cardstock, which measure 1/2 inch by 6 inches. And again, that will all be down in the description box. And now, as I say, I don't know if I'm going to use all 10 yet. I cut 10 and we'll see how many we use. So I'm going to first, again, because I'm sticking it onto acetate, I'm going to use my red runner tape. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a strip of tape on the length of each strip, or each strip that I use anyway. Again, line it up with the bottom edge of your card and then stick it down like that. So I'll show you what else we've used from the pack as we go along, but let's just get this into place first. Now, I found if you want to get this straight, the easiest way of doing it is to do it this way. So again, we're going to do this in real time. I'm not going to edit it. It's just so that, especially if you've not done this type of card before, you can see what we're doing. So again, we're going to line that up along the edge. And hey ho, that little splodge of ink is no more. So we're going to put another one down the middle. So if you put one on each side and then one down the middle, you don't have to measure this. You can if you really want to. I've never measured it doing this, but I've never had a problem with it either. So there you go. So again, I'm going to line that up with the bottom edge and stick it down. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one each down here. So we're going to do this all together. So that, as I say, any first timers can see it building up. And even if you have done this before, it's actually quite good fun to watch this type of card building up in real time, as they call it. So we're going to just do one more here. So how many you use is up to you. It depends how wide you want the spokes to your lattice to be. So I'm going to, that's actually torn a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Do you know what? Let's put that to one side because I doubt I'll use all 10. So we'll try that again. That's the other reason I've cut more than I probably need. And yeah, it's sticky down here. That's why it's ripping, but we'll be all right. It'll be okay. Because it's going to be thick. There are going to be bits going over the top of that, so it won't show by the time we're done. So I'm not too bothered. In fact, I'm not bothered at all. So I'm just going to scrape what I don't want it overlapping onto the acetate because otherwise it might show. So there you go, that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is do the horizontal bars. Now if they're anything like this bit, when we're done, we'll turn it over onto the back, and if we see any bits that are overhanging, we'll grab a pair of scissors and we'll chop them off. So let's pop it that side. There's no sticky stuff that side. So just run it down. And I am going to stick one over the top because you can see these bits here. It just covers up that top part and makes it look nice and neat. So we're going to pop that up there like that. Then I'm going to do one, oh, the glue's fallen over. That's okay, leave it down there. That'll be fine. Then we're going to, oh, sorry. Let's just put that where you can see it. Let me just lift that up a bit. That's better. Now we can see what we're doing. So I've rearranged the room a bit. Because what I couldn't bear was looking at that big empty space where Graham's bed was. So I've rearranged the room and I've got all my crafting stuff, my crafting table, where Graham's bed was. And so, which I didn't appreciate what a huge gap that was going to fill. So everything's in a different place. So if I'm scrambling around looking for things, it's because I haven't quite, this is the first time I've used this space. Since rearranging the room, this is the first time I've used this space. Now I am going to use 2 more. I'm going to put one there and one about there. So I'm going to use one more. So I'm not quite sure how many I use there. 9, I think. So we're going to put another one there. So that's our lattice card front. Lattice card front, I think that's what we're going to call it. So I'm going to gently lift that, turn it over, grab a pair of scissors, which are in my little tub next to me, and I'm just going to cut off any overhang that I see from the back. So there's a tiny bit there, but if it's really, really, really tiny, I shan't bother too much, but just a few bits. So there's a bit. Now this is the bit where we have to be careful. Is that the top? No, it's not the top, it's the side. That's okay, as long as we don't cut the top off. Because if we cut the join, then we will cut the thing in half and it won't stand up. So I think we're just about there now. So let's, oops. All right, that was the dies falling on the floor. There we go. We've got them back now. Fantastic. Right, we're back in business. So there is our lattice style card, and it opens quite nicely like that. Now, from the pack, let's just pop that out of the way for a minute. I've used a few things actually. I've used this beautiful bird. I've also used the stamp that goes with it. I've used some of these flowers, and I've used all of the leaves. So you'll see how I've used that as we go along. So I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to pop that up there so it doesn't fall down. It's quite nice. I've got an extra table next to me on that side over there. I've got an extra table within arm's reach, so it's quite handy. So I've got a bit more space that I didn't have. I've got some space I hadn't had before. And I have just seen another overhang, which I don't like. So, which I don't think I can do anything about. Okay, do you know what? I'm going to live with it. It'll be fine. So, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a homemade card. That's what I keep telling myself. And that's what I tell my other students as well. It's a homemade card. It doesn't have to be perfect. So, I've cut and coloured that beautiful bird from the Stamp and Die set. And I think I'm going to put him, or her. So I'm going to put our bird on the lowest one here. So what I think I'm going to do is, I was just trying to work out the best way of gluing him down. If I put a little blob of glue, I'm going to use my Creative Crafts bookbinding glue, because it's strong and it dries super fast. So just along there, and maybe up there a little bit. I don't want too much, but just enough to hold it. Do you know what? I think that'll be absolutely perfect. So I want him to be actually resting on the branch, but I do want him upright. So before I stick it down, yeah, I think that'll do. Before I stick it down too hard. Yes, I think that'll do. Yep, that's great. So I was just making sure that everything's where it should be. Absolutely perfect. Now, from the flowers, what I've done, I'll bring the flowers in so that you can see what I've done. I've also used the papers, or some of the papers anyway, to actually cut the flowers from. So what I've done, each flower piece that I used, each flower die, I've cut it twice. And sometimes I've cut it from the plain card, and sometimes I've cut it from the pattern card. So I've got a variety of flowers. I've got 6 different flowers. And on the back of each one, I've cut down a piece of foam pad, or foam tape, I beg your pardon. And I'm going to put that one there. And I want another plain one. Yeah, that size. I want the same size, roughly. So we're going to put these together like that. We're going to assemble this all together so you can see my thought process, or a particular thought process. You don't have to do it this way, of course. You can arrange them however you like. So all of these have got little bits of offcuts of foam pads, and this one I'm going to put on this side, and I think, actually, you know what, I think I'm going to put that one there. As long as you keep them within the regime of your card, the remit of your card, it will go into a 6x6 envelope. And that little one, that little blue one, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, I'm just going to stick on there. And I've used some bling from my own stash to make the centres with. So we'll just pop the rest of the flowers on, and we'll put that one there. And we will put that one up there, I think. So that's coming together really nicely. Now, from the two of the green papers, that one's from the plain green, that one was from the patterned green. I have cut a couple of leaf dies, and I'm going to put these on with some glue stick because it's a nice strong glue stick. So any strong glue stick you've got will do for this. So I'm just going to stick that along there like that, or run that along there like that, I should say. And we're going to put the solid colour on first. Now, which I think I'm going to put that way. It doesn't matter too much, but... And that one I'm going to have coming out the other way. Well, I think that might need a bit more glue. So that's no problem. Just pop a bit more glue on there. I could have even used runner tape, I suppose. But I didn't want the front part that hasn't got any embellishment on to get too sticky. So that's okay. I'm going to leave that like that. I quite like that. I was going to put something in the middle, but I'll probably leave it. And I've got some of the individual leaves, which again, I've cut 2 each, 2 from the plain card and 2 from the pattern card. And again, do you know what? I'm going to use this glue this time, and I'm going to put 2 spots of glue there, 2 spots of glue there, and we are going to get this card finished. I'm going to tap that under there like that, which is one of the reasons I decided to use foam tape, or foam pads rather, on the flower so that I could tuck some leaves behind them if I wanted to, which I was pretty sure I would want to. So, and when you've got sticky fingers, nothing stays where you want it to, but that's okay. We'll get there. So, we're nearly done, guys. So, I'm going to put that one there, and I think I might need just another spot of glue. Just there. And this glue will dry clear, so if you've still got blobs on it by the time you finish, don't worry, it won't show. Once the glue dries, the blobs won't show, so don't worry about them. I certainly won't. So we're going to put that in there like that, and there's just one more thing to do with this one, and we are done. We had a beautiful ephemera set in this pack, and it says, "Some birdie loves you," which I thought was absolutely adorable. So, again, I'm going to use, I could have used some foam tape or foam pads, but I'm not going to because I want this sentiment to be flat. I don't want it to stick up too much, so I'm going to just run a bead of glue, PVA style glue, along there, turn it over, and I'm going to put that about there. And the acetate does actually help to give that some strength. So I would strongly recommend using acetate, especially, as I say, if you've never made a lattice card before. So let's just quickly, very quickly, pop the glue lid on so it doesn't, if it does fall over, it doesn't make a mess. So there you go, guys. There is our lattice card with our birdie in the middle, with some flowers and some foliage framing it. We've got some paper on the inside, which looks lovely. When you look through, it looks like a type of window now, actually. So on the back, you've got plenty of room to write your own message, and it stands up. If I rock it backwards, it stands up beautifully. And later on, what I might do, actually I won't. So we have got bits sticking out actually, but do you know what? I quite like that. I like the ruggedness of it. So I'm going to leave that like that. So there we go, guys. There is our lattice card. Or lattice front, let's call it a lattice front card, shall we? There is our lattice front card made from white card and elements from Paper Crafts Society box 65, I think. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoy our next one. As I say, it's fantastic to be back. I will be back on Wednesday with another project from different elements from this fantastic box, and I'll see you then. And in the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could give me a thumbs up. That would be great. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, but you've enjoyed it, please do hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and you'll never miss another video from me. And I will see you on Wednesday with our second project from this fantastic box. And until then, thank you again for watching. Take care, everybody. Have fun. And as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.